Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my survival grain bag. So I've been living outside for about a year and a half now, and one of the problems you have to solve is how to store food in a safe way where it's not going to get wet, it's going to keep well, and animals aren't going to be able to get into it. So I showed you my plastic storage container that I use, but also I do use a dry sack. This is something they make for people who backpack or like kayak and stuff like that. You can put a bunch of clothes in here or other things that you don't want to get wet, and it can rain on it, it can even fall in the river, and it's going to be fine. So I've decided to use this as a grain sack instead. So this is about 2 days worth of food here. I'm going to be filling it up. It has this little clip here. This is how we open it. And then it rolls up, right? So I rolled it to close it, and then it opens up, and inside, I don't know if you can see, there's food in there, right? So I'm just gonna fill this up right now. Okay, so I've got my 3 grains that I like to use. This is lentils, this is rice, and this is quinoa. So I'm just gonna set the bag up right here. And I'm just gonna have a little container lid from the container I showed you in the last video. And this is just so I get equal amounts essentially. So I'm going to fill it up with the lentils. I'm going to pour the lentils in there. I'm going to fill it up with rice. Pour it in there. Oh no! And then I'm going to fill it up with quinoa. And pour it in there. And then I'm going to mix it up. And then I'm just going to keep doing that until it's as full as I want it to be. So I ran out of rice, otherwise I would have filled it more, but we're about 2/3 full, I'd say. And so we got all this slack here. You do need to leave a little bit of slack so you can actually roll it. And actually I should have. You got to make sure you push out all the air and then you roll it, and then you can get pretty low, and then you just strap it like that, and that's it. So here it is. This is probably a little more than 2/3 full, because again you do need to leave a little bit of space there at the top. So I'd say when this thing is maxed out, like full all the way, it's probably about 2 weeks of food. Now I've never actually tested that, but I think it's pretty close. And basically what I do is, if I'm measuring that in terms of like if I was being really sedative and not doing a whole lot of work and just kind of hanging out trying to make my survival stores last as long as possible, I could live off of probably 2 handfuls of this a day. And so generally I think 2 handfuls would last me about 2 weeks. So anyways, and then also, so this is what I would carry with me in my backpack. Also, I have stores of this stuff. I have probably a year's worth of this mixture stored up. So basically I'm set in terms of food, and I basically just put those in plastic buckets, and I put a tarp over them, and I store them out in the wilderness in different places. So anyway, so this basically is perfect because it's really lightweight. The container actually gets smaller and takes up less space in your backpack, the less food that you have, which allows you to put more things in, and also not put as much food if you don't want to have a certain amount, and you're not using up all that space because the container just happens to be that big. And it is waterproof. I'd say the one downside, which honestly I have not had to face where I am, but I would face in certain other places, is the fact that a rodent could easily chew through this and get to your food. So we definitely have rodents around here, like all kinds of different rodents, but the year and a half that I've been living outside here, basically I've never had any instance of a rodent getting into my food anywhere. So I don't know why that's happening here. It might be because I live around my food, or it just could be the type of rodents and stuff like that. I know that when I used to live up in Washington, there's places that I would go backpacking with my girlfriend, and if we were away from our food for like a couple of hours, we would come back and there would be holes in our backpacks, So I don't know what the difference is. It is something you have to worry about in certain places. And I'm guessing that this probably wouldn't keep them out. So if you're in a place where that's probably going to be an issue, then you may want to just have another one of those plastic containers that I showed you in my last gear video. So anyways, that's the survival grain bag. Hope that's useful, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.